Hi, I'm Eric Lanask. We're here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida for ITEXPO 2016. In the studio with me from Yorktel is Vishal Brown. Vishal, thanks for joining me. Great to see you.
Thanks, Eric. Always great being back here.
So, we're kicking off 2016 with this year's edition of ITEXPO. Let's do a little bit of a rewind and give me some of the highlights from Yorktel's 2015.
Sure. 2015 for Yorktel was a great year. We had some very big accomplishments, and we won some awards. One of the big ones we won towards the end of last year was winning the Commercial Integrator of the Year award for 2015. So we were very proud of that. And it's really speaking to the flexibility of our services and the flexibility of responding to our customer needs. So that was a big accomplishment for us. Another big one was the Emmy Awards. We won an Emmy, right?
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. And that's for our Media Services division, working with the American Veterans Center. So that was a big deal for us. Typically we've gotten nominated quite a few times, but we never actually won. And last year we won. Another challenge we all see as part of our business as an integration company, when you do integration, you continuously every year have to go win that business. It's new every time. And from a recurring revenue model perspective, that can be a challenge. And we've tried to evolve our business model over the past decade in making sure we have more managed services business. As of last year, 2015, 50% of our recurring revenue is from managed services. So that continues to see a great growth trajectory. Telehealth saw 75% growth. That's significant for us. That's been an area of focus. And then lastly, EMEA, we saw in 2014 going into 2015, another 50% growth here. And lastly, for professional services, which is the practice that I lead, we had a 92% growth, year-over-year growth. So overall, 2015 has been an extremely great year for us.
Why do you think you're seeing that much growth, particularly on the managed services side? Certainly, managed services is number one. It can be defined in a number of different ways. But why is it really becoming so hot?
I mean, there are quite a few reasons. Technology is just becoming more and more complex and complicated. As an IT function within an organization, they have to ask themselves, do we want to staff for this? Do we have the skill set in-house to do this? How much do we staff for this? On the other side of that is when a company stands back and look at themselves and they go, okay, I'm a pharmaceutical, or I'm a banking. Do I want to be in the business of managing video? They ask themselves that question. From an industry trend perspective, when you look at what's out there in terms of cloud, for example, and other enabling technologies, there are a lot of UCaaS products that allows doing video managed services at a more cost-efficient rate than doing it in-house. So cloud, the business case for really doing that internally, I think customers has realized that, it doesn't make sense for them to do it internally. In addition to that, I mean, Yorktel has been doing this for 30 years. 2015 is our 30-year anniversary. So we know a thing or two about doing video managed services. So I think once we demonstrate that, our award demonstrates that, I think customers really respect a valued partner when we walk in there and they want to buy that service from us.
Who are you reaching? Who's the decision maker at your clients who you're actually reaching with that value proposition that's making that decision to go from whatever they've traditionally been doing on premises or whatnot to managed services?
Sure. I mean, I think the key here is we've begun to elevate the conversation. So we're not just speaking to the IT director anymore or the AV manager or even the UC director. We're speaking to the CIO, the CFO, and the C-suite, essentially. And it's not because we're going in there and speaking about technology. We're talking about business strategy. And to give an example, a big area of a big discussion point for us in 2015 and going into 2016 is next generation workplace. So what is that? As we start looking at the next generation worker or the profile of a next generation worker, it's really looking at the millennials. So from a statistics perspective, by 2020, 50% of the workforce is going to be a next generation worker or a millennial. By 2030, 75% will be a next generation worker. So what we're saying in essence is, in 4 years, every other person you sit in the office with is going to be a millennial, and as such, a next generation worker. So what do they do? What does that person do? They like to work from home part of the time. They may work at 10 and go to the gym at 2, but then work till 2 a.m. in the morning, right? They're in the office 3 days a week, and then they travel. We have enabling technologies that allows them to work from anytime, anywhere, any place. So taking that persona of a next generation worker and designing office spaces and collaboration technology that meets that type of worker, that's what next generation workspaces and workplaces are about. So Yorktel is having that conversation from a professional services consulting capacity with the C-level and C-suite, and that's ringing home for them. They want to understand that. How do we create a business strategy around next generation workplace and create the technology ecosystem, the interior design, real estate function ecosystem, our hiring practice, HR policy ecosystem to accommodate a next generation worker. So that really evolves the conversation and allows us to have a conversation with the C-suite.
So that's a little bit of sort of how your conversation has changed. How does that impact your outlook or your objectives for 2016?
It still ties back to our fundamental core businesses that we have, sort of managed services, or cloud, professional services, media, and staffing. But it helps us fine-tune our products because we know what's in front of us. We've done the research. We know what's coming. We want to provide that guidance back to our customers to say, hey, this is where we see the market going. This is how we're fine-tuning our products, and let's help you get there. So it hasn't changed fundamentally the products we have, but it definitely helps us fine-tune our services, but additionally add value-added service offerings that our customers could take advantage of. An example of that is, is hypercare, right? And it's really based around customer success. So when we implement next-generation technologies into a workspace, remember, it's not just a next-generation worker anymore and that millennial. It's a Gen X and a Gen Y. We have to make sure that they're comfortable with this new work style and new technology that's going in. And what we do is provide that training, so they have that formalized training, be it an hour or a half-day session. We provide adoption and promotion campaigns. But we also have that hypersensitive period where, during that first 4 to 6 weeks, the users are, it's like buying a new TV. If I go to you in month 3, you're probably fine. But in the first week, you're trying to figure out all the buttons, right? And it's the same thing with providing new technology. It's one thing to get the first training, but you probably absorb 30% of what I just taught you, right? But during that 4 to 6 weeks, we provide that hypercare layer that really handholds the customer and the end users through this new technology and new work style. And that's been a huge value add to our customers. So those 3 components, training, adoption, and the hypercare, is really what leads to customer success for our clients.
Excellent. Well, Michel, sounds like you've got things well under control. Wish you the best for 2016. And, of course, thanks for joining me today.
Appreciate always being here. Thanks, Eric.